Welcome to Vishwa Chicago Realty, your Chicago broker. Today in our unit, we will be covering real property and everything that is to learn about real properties. So let's begin. Let's start with three core definitions that exam loves to test. Land is the physical earth itself. It includes the surface, the subsurface, and the airspace above the land. Real estate is land plus any permanent man-made improvements like buildings. Real property goes one step further. Real property is real estate plus the legal rights of ownership that comes with it. Now, what are subsurface rights and air rights? Ownership doesn't stop at the surface. Subsurface rights include natural resources below the land like oil, gas, and any minerals. These rights can actually be sold separately from the surface land. Ownership also includes air rights above the land, but those rights are limited to allow air travel. In dense cities like Chicago, air rights can be extremely valuable and are sometimes sold or leased for high-rise development. What is bundle of rights? Real estate property is defined by what is known as the bundle of rights. These include the right of possession, meaning the right to occupy the property, the right of use and enjoyment, meaning you can use the property in any legal way, the right of control, meaning you decide how the property is used, the right of exclusion, meaning you can keep others out, and the right of deposition, meaning you can sell, lease, or give away the property as you wish. Think of these rights like sticks in a bundle. You can give up one right without giving up all of them. Real property versus personal property. What do you think that is? The distinction is tested often. Real property is land and anything permanently attached to it. It is immovable and is transferred using a deed. Personal property is anything that is not real property. Simple. It is movable, also called chattel, and it is transferred using a bill of sale. Knowing the method of transfer is a key exam cue. Remember that. Property can change its classification. Severance occurs when something is removed from the land, changing it from real property into personal property. For example, a tree is a real property while growing, but once cut into lumber, it becomes personal property. Annexation is the opposite. When personal property is permanently attached to the land, it becomes real property. For example, lumber used to build a deck becomes part of the real property. Now you cannot take it away. Trees and crops. Trees and plants are considered real property because they are permanent parts of the land. Annual crops, also called implements, are considered personal property. These crops belong to the person who planted them. In Illinois, possession of farmland typically transfers on March 1st, allowing the new owner to begin the planting season. A fixture is a personal property that has become real property by being permanently attached to the real estate. Items like HVAC systems, plumbing fixtures, built-in bookcases, and kitchen cabinets are common examples. Fixtures start as personal property and become real property once permanently attached. When the status of an item is disputed, courts apply three tests. First is the method of attachment, how permanently the item is attached. Second is the adaptation, where the item is specifically adapted to the property. Third is the agreement of the parties. The written agreement is the most important test and overrides the others. When in doubt, list the items in the purchase contract. Trade fixtures. This is another big one. Trade fixtures are a special exception. A trade fixture is a personal property used by a tenant and used in conducting a business. Trade fixtures belong to the tenant, not to the landlord. The tenant must remove trade fixtures on or before the last day of the lease. If they don't, the fixtures become landlord's property through exception. Manufactured housing. Manufactured homes start as personal property because they are built off-site and transported. The manufactured home becomes real property when it is permanently attached to the foundation of the land. The classification depends entirely on permanent attachment. There are 4 economic characteristics of land. Scarcity means land is desirable location is limited. Improvements on one parcel can affect the value of nearby parcels. Permanence of investment refers to the large financial commitment involved in building improvements. And location, also called situs, is most important economic characteristic and reflects people's preference. There are 3 physical characteristics of land. Immobility means land cannot be moved. Indestructibility means land itself is permanent even if improvements are destroyed. Uniqueness or non-homogeneity means no 2 parcels of land are exactly the same. Real estate law operates at multiple levels. Federal law overrides state law and state law overrides local ordinances. Real estate licenses exist to protect the public interest. Licensees are not attorneys and must not practice law. If a client needs legal advice, they must refer to a qualified attorney. So what did we learn in this unit? To succeed on Unit 2, you must clearly distinguish between land, real estate, and real property. You need to understand the bundle of rights. You must know the difference between real property, personal property, including severance and annexation. You must master fixtures and trade fixtures. And you must memorize the economic and physical characteristics of land. Mastering this unit makes future chapters much easier because these terms will be commonly used again and again. If you like this chapter and the overview, please like and subscribe. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.